Hi, and welcome to April's upcoming book releases. There's quite a few books that I'm really excited to share with you, so let's get on with it. Unlike in my previous videos, I will be going through books based on their release dates, starting with the one that is the closest to us and finishing with the ones that are at the end of April. And I've separated them in a few categories. We will start with fantasy and sci-fi since it's my favorite genres and it's what I focus on in my reading the most. And in that category, I will start with new releases. Those are the books that have never been published. Then I will move on to the books that have been indie published, or in this case, it's only going to be one book, but now it's getting picked up by a traditional publisher. And then I will finish up the category by naming some of the next books in a series. Then next will be all other fiction, which is any genre that is not fantasy or sci-fi. And then to finish up, I will list any nonfiction that I'm interested in. And these are absolutely not every single book that is getting published in April. This is just the majority, either the books that are the most anticipated or the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. And to start off with is a fantasy book coming out on 2nd of April, and it's one that after reading the synopsis I am really looking forward to, and it's This Kingdom Will Not Kill You by Ilona Andrews. It is going to be the first book in a Maggie the Undying series, and the synopsis is really quite interesting. Maggie is the main character, and she has a favorite book series, and it's a dark fantasy series that is unfinished. And one day she wakes up naked, cold, and filthy in a gutter, and very quickly she discovers that she has woken up in the world that she has read about so many times. And obviously, her first instinct is to try to get out of it and try to get back to the real world, but soon she discovers that no matter how many things try, nothing can really kill her. And then she joins a band of quite interesting and fascinating characters, and soon she finds herself trying to help them and trying to save the world that she's in from the ending that she has actually read about in the book. This sounds like a fascinating fantasy story, one that I would definitely be interested in picking up potentially very soon, since it's coming out in a couple of days. And it will be available in a standard hardback as well as a Waterstone special edition. Unfortunately, the Broken Binding special edition has sold out at the time of me looking up available editions. I don't know if they're planning on bringing it back, sometimes they do, but I've never really followed books that have been sold out, so I'm not entirely sure. And moving on 9th of April, we have The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. She's quite known for her cozy fantasy, and this time around she's coming out with a young adult cozy fantasy book. I believe it's a standalone, I don't think it's going to be a series. And our main character is 16 years old. She has a bad breakup. And following that breakup, she sort of wants a bit of a change of scenery. So her parents send her to her aunt, who owns an inn. And her task is to help her aunt with the inn and sort of live there for a little bit, for a couple of months. But very quickly she realizes that the inn is hiding certain secrets, especially around the residents. It sounds like a great setting for a cozy fantasy book, though I've never really read anything young adult cozy. I've never actually heard of anything young adult cozy, so this definitely sounds like an interesting release. And this book will be available in a standard hardback as well as a special edition from Pan Macmillan, who is the publisher of the book. And following that, on 14th of April, we have First Mage on the Moon by Cameron Johnston. And it is actually a space fantasy, not something that I've ever read. And it's a story of wizards racing to be the first on the moon, which is also known as the Land of Gods. And it will be available in standard hardback as well as a special edition from the Broken Binding. And after that, on 23rd of April is the release of Stay for a Spell by Amy Coombe. And it is a story of Princess Tanadel. She gets cursed to remain in this rundown bookshop until she unlocks her heart's desire. But soon she realizes that she's actually quite enjoying it. She loves living surrounded by books, and she's quite enjoying her company. She's accompanied by a very handsome pirate, but her parents start sending her suitors in a hope that she will fall in love with one of them, and that the kiss will break the curse. And the book will be available in the standard hardback as well as the Goldsboro special edition, which is the choice for April for the Fellowship subscription. So once the Fellowship books get shipped out, any remaining copies will be available for the purchase on the website. And on that same day is the release of Honor and Heresy by Max Francis. It looks like it's a debut standalone. It's an atmospheric gothic dark academic fantasy of two scholars racing each other to find answers to an invasion in a haunted library. It is also a queer romance, and it will be available in a standard hardback. And closer to the end of the month, on the 28th of April, we're getting the release of Deathbringer by Sonia Tagliareni. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering the name. It's a dark academia romantasy steeped in necromancy, forbidden love, and a twisty murder mystery set within the perilous halls of a magical institute. As a death mage who hates her magic and a poison mage who hates her are forced to work together to stop a killer before one of them is next. And it will be available in a standard hardback as well as in a UK indie edition provided by Goldsboro. And on that same day is the release of Death Meets Cute by Jay Penner. It's a cozy romance fantasy that will be available in a paperback. And at the very end of the month, on 30th of April, is a release that I'm really excited about, and it's We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune. It's a standalone blend of fantasy and sci-fi, and it's a story of an older couple, an older queer couple. They've been together for 40 years, and now they're embarking on this fantasy adventure to sort of chase the end of the world, and it sounds just absolutely charming and really interesting. It's a pretty short book, it's just under 200 pages, and I really cannot wait to get it. And it will be available in a hardback. I can't unfortunately find any special editions. I hope maybe there's some in the future, but not at the moment. And moving on, this time around there's only one indie published book. It was published in 2024 and is now being picked up by a traditional publisher, and it's coming out on 23rd of April. And the book in question is Riftborne by Bree Grenwich and Parker Lennox, and it's a first book in the Isperthian trilogy. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering that. It was originally published, like I said, in September 2024. Two books have already been indie published. The last one is coming out in 2027, and it's a part of a bigger extended universe that the authors have written in, and it's a romance fantasy that will be available in a hardback and in a Waterstone special edition. And moving on, there's quite a few books that are coming out that are the next book in the series, in the existing series. And the first one on the list is coming out on 7th of April, and it's A Dance of Burning Blades by M.H.Ayinde. I actually own the first book. I don't know if you can see it here. I don't think you can. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I got it as a part of Illumicrate subscription, Illumicrate Fantasy subscription, and now the second book is coming out. It will be available in a standard hardback, in a Goldsboro special edition, and in a Illumicrate special edition. And if I can judge by the first book, then it looked absolutely beautiful, and I've seen the special editions that are coming out, and they also look really beautiful. And I've also heard really good things of the first book, so I'm quite motivated to read the first one, so I know if I want to pick up the second one in a special edition while they're still available. And on that same day, on 7th of April, we are getting the Rites of the Starling by Devney Perry. It's a second book in the Shelf of Sparrows series. It is confirmed to be a trilogy. The first book came out in an absolutely gorgeous Waterstones hardback, one that again I own and haven't had a chance to read. And the second book is also coming out in an absolutely beautiful Waterstone special edition. I'm not sure if it has sold out yet or not. I looked at it sometime earlier in March and it was sold out, so I'm assuming they printed additional copies, because when I was making prep for this video, it was available again on the Waterstones website. But it will be available in that gorgeous Waterstones edition that I keep referring to, and a standard hardback. And on the 9th of April is the release of the third and final book in the Nightfall saga by Peter V. Brett, and the name of the book is The Demon King. And it will be available in standard hardback as well as the Broken Binding Special Edition. And the next one is one that I am really excited about, and it's the second book in a trilogy by James S.A. Corey. The name of the book is The Fate of Beasts. It's coming out on 14th of April. I have read the first book in a series and I really enjoyed it. It's quite an interesting story of an alien invasion on a human inhabited planet and sort of them taking over. And it's quite a brutal story. It's fairly graphic and it's a little bit gruesome, but I enjoy dark fantasy, so dark sci-fi seems like a pretty nice extension of my interests. So I'm really looking forward to the second book. I have quite high hopes for it and I can't wait to read it. And then moving on is the release that I'm sure quite a few people are excited about. On 16th of April, we're getting The Tempest Blade by Danielle L. Jensen, and it's the sixth and the final book in the Bridge Kingdom series, and it will be available in the paperback. I have heard really good things of the series. I haven't read it myself, but quite excited to see the ending of the series, and then hopefully sometime in the future I will pick it up and read it myself. And last, but I'm sure for some people absolutely not least, on 21st of April, we're getting the release of Frozen by Stardust by Elizabeth Helen, and it's the fifth book in the Beasts of the Briar series, and it will be available in the hardback as well as in a special edition paperback available from Amazon. And that is all for fantasy, and now I would love to move on to other fiction, which, like I said, is any genre that doesn't fall under fantasy or sci-fi. And to start off with, on 7th of April is The Escape Game by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. As far as I know, Marissa Meyer actually wrote quite a few fantasy books. I think she has a fantasy series that is quite highly rated. And this book is a young adult murder mystery set in an escape room themed game show. And the synopsis is following a murder in season 4, Sierra Angelus competes in season 5 to find her sister's killer, facing deadly sabotage and complex interactive puzzles. And it will be available in a paperback. And on that same day is definitely a very, very highly anticipated release, and it's The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark, which is a pen name for a duo, Kat Clark and V. Schwab. It's, as far as I know, the first V. Schwab book that isn't a fantasy, so it's definitely quite an exciting book to pick up and read, definitely one that I'm really looking forward to. And the synopsis is world famous author Arthur Fletch, I'm so sorry, is dead. His final novel, the most anticipated book in history, remains unfinished, but the ending won't write itself. When six struggling authors are invited to Fletcher's private Scottish island and presented with the opportunity of a lifetime, the plot thickens. Whoever writes a worthy ending will receive a game changing book deal and $2 million. And the book will be available in a standard hardback as well as a Waterstone signed edition and a Goldsboro signed special edition. And on the 9th of April is a release of another contemporary fiction that I am really excited about, and it's Yesteryear by Cara Claire Burke. And it's a really interesting synopsis. A traditional American woman, a beautiful wife and mother, who sells her pioneer lifestyle of raw milk and farm fresh eggs to her millions on social media followers, suddenly awakens cold, filthy, and terrified in the brutal reality of 1805, where she must unravel whether this living nightmare is an elaborate hoax, a twisted reality show, or something far more sinister in this seasonal debut novel. It sounds incredibly fascinating. I've never really followed any trad wife Instagram channels or TikTok channels. I know there's quite a few of them, and I know they really spark a lot of conversation and a lot of debate on whether this is the lifestyle that women should be living or whether we should stick to more standardized gender roles that are more accepted these days. It definitely sounds like a pretty interesting book, a very interesting setting. It's sort of a mix of contemporary fiction and historical fiction, and it will be coming out on a standard hardback, and it's one that I'm definitely looking forward to picking up and reading. And to finish off the list, I have three horrors lined up for the end of April, and the first one is coming out on 23rd of April, and it's The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. And it's a supernatural horror about a young woman who accepts a caretaking job from Craigslist only to discover the position has consequences far greater and more dangerous than she had ever could have imagined. It sounds like a pretty standard horror setting, but nevertheless quite an interesting one. I think I've heard pretty good things about it as far as arcs go and anticipated releases go. So it's potentially something that I would be interested in reading, though I'm quite scared of horrors. And it's coming out in a standard hardback. I haven't found any information of special editions, at least just yet. And on the 30th of April, a release of quite an interesting horror, and it's Molka by Monica Kim. Monica Kim is Korean. She's a Korean American. She has lived in America her, I believe, entire life. And Molka is the Korean term for spy cameras secretly and illegally installed, often to capture voyeuristic images and videos. And I believe the synopsis is the main female character is dating this rich, powerful man, and they get captured on one of those Molka cameras. And the information about their relationship itself gets publicized, and he's not quite happy about it. So they break up, and I believe he leaves either the country or just the area. So she's left alone until she realizes that somebody that she, I believe, works with is stalking her through these cameras and has been following her life through these cameras. It definitely sounds like a very interesting setting. I don't know how horror-ish or how scary it's going to be. The setting sounds a little bit more like a psychological thriller of the sorts, but I will be definitely following the reviews, and then I will see if I maybe want to pick up myself and read and then see what I think for myself. And the last but definitely not least is also getting released on 30th of April, and it is Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. It will be available in a hardback and in a Waterstones, I believe, special signed edition, though maybe not so special. Quite admittedly, I like American cover a lot more than I like the UK one. The UK one looks less horror-ish, less Japanese than the American one. The American one is giving me a bit of shivers. I'm not entirely sure what the synopsis is, but it sounds like a combination of horror and maybe historical horror, something related to Japanese myths, Japanese traditions, something related to ghosts, something related to past tragedies that happened around this compound or around this house. Definitely one that I would probably be quite scared to pick up, but I will see what the reviews are and maybe someday in the future. And to finish up the video is a non-fiction release that I am really excited about, and it's Talking Classics by Mary Beard. It's getting released on 16th of April. It will be available in just the standard hardback as well as the signed hardback, and it's definitely a non-fiction book that I'm quite looking forward to. Mary Beard is known as one of the best historians when it comes to Roman history. She has written a wonderful book about Pompeii and everything that happened in Pompeii, as well as several quite well-known and well-reviewed Roman Empire history books. So I'm really interested in potentially picking up this one. I am going to the event with her. She will be touring around the UK, especially around the Cambridge area. So I'm really looking forward to attending that event and seeing how I enjoy her and how I enjoy the talk, and then potentially picking up the book as well. So that is it for April. There's quite a few books that I'm really excited about. Interestingly enough, when I was going into the research for the video, there weren't that many books on my list for April, not that many that I was looking forward to, not that many that I was looking out for. But after making the list and after making the prep, the list has definitely grown for the books that I'm planning on picking up myself and reading and sort of seeing how I feel about them. And thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are looking forward to any of these books, if you have maybe pre-purchased any of them or planning to pick them up, please leave a comment down below and let's chat about it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.